right, you bunch of yahoos, strap yourselves in for another episode of Dan and Don's Toxic Masculinity.
In other words, shut up, sit up, and pay attention. And welcome back to another exciting episode of Toxic Masculinity, where I've got my co-host, the hostess with the mostest, the mustachioed one, the one and only, the Predator, Don Frye.
Hey, baby.
And then Don is down in the Sierra Vista / Tucson area right now, and Arizona, and I am still up here in Howell, Michigan. But our guest here is actually back in the state of New York, out on, I think, one of the islands there. If I don't know how specific we'll get here right now with this, but we have a New Yorker here right now that's going to be on the line. But we have Seth Turner, who is actually the president of the International Professional Wrestling Hall of Fame. So we're going to be talking about a lot of professional wrestling stuff. We're going to be talking about this incredible museum that just opened up just a few weeks back, I think maybe a little over a month or so back, and we'll be talking about that and all kinds of stuff that's professional wrestling related and whatever else that's that we can come up and sling at people if we happen to offend, defend anyone and everyone that we so desire.
Now, if I could go back to Mike Chapman, I believe he also contributed, I know he did, to writing our program, which we've had 2 editions of our program, which are some of the best history of pro wrestling. And I know Mike is a contributing author. But again, yeah, as you know, it's networking, it's who you know. We want to work with good people. When you get into this business, you ran down a list of, the type of individuals with whom you interact. And would you believe we've had screw jobs, we've had promoters,
no, say it isn't so.
Yep, somebody maybe put money in their pocket when they were working for us, and was, to put you in those uncomfortable positions. And yep, but that's why word of mouth means everything, and I'd rather work with good people and we get lots of people who call up and they volunteer. Hey, we want to come help you out. Yeah, you mean put yourself over and I got to get your stink on me? No thanks.
Yeah, they show up with a big oversized bag, shopping bag.
It comes in empty.
Well, periodically, as we're going through here, Seth, I want you to keep reiterating, if people want to get in contact with you or with the International Professional Wrestling Hall of Fame, they want to help out, they want to make a contribution, what are some avenues that people can do here just to get in contact, to either bring more stuff to you, to again make donations, be a part of history?
So check out our website, which is prowrestlinghall.org. Again, that's www.prowrestlinghall.org. You can find us on Facebook and all major social medias. I can't say I'm the one who runs it because I'm not, and certainly you could stop by at the arena. We're on the 2nd floor of the atrium, which is the main entrance where people are going in and out of the arena.
Okay, again, I'm going to jump in here, but on this www.prowrestling.org, did I say that correctly?
Pro Wrestling Hall.
Pro Wrestling Hall, okay. .org. Will there be a schedule up, or is there something different where they'll see a schedule as events are being scheduled for at different athletic events and stuff like that are coming up?
Well, first of all, what I'd say is go there and buy a T-shirt, buy a coffee mug. Those are fun ways. Order a program or a deck of our cards or things like that. Those are fun ways that you can support the organization and you get something in return. Certainly, you could make a donation, and we appreciate that. But the hoodies are comfortable, the T-shirts are comfortable. So there's some nice product that we put up and change things out. So again, we do.
And you also have that hot tag coffee right there that you can mix up and put right into that coffee mug, go along there with it, right?
That's right. That's right. Hot tag by Motor Oil Coffee, right in Albany, New York. We're giving those
Now,
guys.
again, I remember when I was out there and you said it was, I said, made by who? And you said Motor Oil Company. I'm thinking, wow, is that how thick is that cup of coffee here now? Okay. Is it 20 weight, 30 weight? What? I mean, Mr. Frye drinks a pretty strong cup of coffee. I've seen that spoon stand up more than once there. So
Walk away too. Float a horseshoe.
I apologize. I've been dominating the conversation, Don. I apologize. But look, Dan gave me an opportunity and I got to take it and go with it, you know?
They hear me talk every week, you know, so you're the guest.
Seth, I'm working a tag. I'm working a tag match here with you right now. Trust me, Mr. Frye will be jumping in here when I go. Okay, Dad.
Yeah, eventually
jump
that'll
in.
happen.
Yeah, I'll run out of juice here sooner or later.
Well, Dan, one thing you and I were talking about off the air that I want to bring up on the air is that in preparation is we did give you the Trailblazer Award, but you and I would talk sometimes over the last several months before our ceremony and our ribbon cutting. And then when we met in person, it had nothing to do with pro wrestling that we were talking about. And it was the fact that one time when we were on the phone, you were driving somewhere and I said, well, I'm one of 8 children. And you said, I'm one of 8 children. And then we started to have a conversation that only kids from a large family can really know and understand. So you want to talk about why is the organization successful? Because when you've had nothing and your only opportunity to get out of having nothing is to work hard and put in the time, that develops in you a mindset and habits that carry over into the rest of your life if you embrace it. You know, if you want to feel sorry for yourself and live in squalor the rest of your life, you can do that too. But I knew I was broke as hell and I wasn't going to stay there. You know, I had 3 older brothers and all I had was hand-me-downs.
Okay, so you're child number 4 on the ladder.
I'm child number 4, yes.
Yeah, okay.
I have 3
on
older
the ladder
and 3 younger brothers and then a little sister.
Well, at least you didn't have older sisters sent to wear their hand-me-downs. Although today, you know,
Mr. Frye, you know, you can't make statements like that. You have to simply allow people to allow children. You have to let the children make up their own decision. You know, let that child that's 3, 4, 5 years of age decide whether they want to wear a dress this morning or they want to identify
they can't
as
wipe
a
their own
different
ass.
noun,
Wipe their own ass
pronoun.
and decide what they want to be. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I look this way. There's still a drinking age, right? In this country, correct? You got to be of age to drink.
Yeah.
No, well, it's 21 to me. As I go, well, there's a reason why there's certain age factors to it. In the same way with the child, I go, our government is got their heads so far shoved up in each other's rectum that they don't know what they're doing anymore. I go, be a parent, be a true leader, and make and tell people no. Sometimes, heck, all my kids, and all my animals, they all thought they should have been named No because that's all they heard out of me most of the time. No, you, no. Yeah. Then there's always an occasional maybe. And then like, what do you mean maybe? I got to think about how many different ways this could go wrong first. So, but that's the fun part about it. So what's like the next thing that's coming up right now on the schedule here for the museum? What's coming up first? Or
Did you just call me Mike? Are you thinking of Mike Lanudo, the little guy?
Seth, sorry about that.
I'm 6'5". Don, if you saw
there definitely is there's a huge difference right there. Caposis there. Yes. Sorry. Sometimes
All right. So anyway, we were excited that we were able to open the museum, but we want to spend the rest of 2022, first of all, enhancing our displays and our security because we need better guards to keep people back before we can open it publicly. Also give us an opportunity to develop our schedule for volunteers. It's all volunteer run, by the way. But along the way, because we're business, because we're not just people who say you can go volunteer, you have to meet insurance requirements and actually ensure that these people are not wanted for crimes against children and things like that. So we have to do our due diligence.
You don't want someone to come in and volunteer over the weekend, and then all of a sudden you come in and realize that your place is now empty. Yeah.
Right. Again, you get their stink on you, so there's lots of people who volunteer and want to help, but we want to do it the right way so that again, we'll have that longevity. So that's the concept. And then by 2023, we can have regular hours or a regular schedule for the rest of that year. We are planning for our next induction, which will be, we do the last weekend of August. So this will be our third year for that. We started that in 2021. And if you go back, you have to remember, we started in December 2019 and the pandemic hit by March of 2020. So we've had to start this business during the midst of the pandemic. We've never been able to function. And so imagine when we were planning a year ahead of time in 2020 that we would hold an event in 2021. That it was crazy to even think we could do it. But we did it, and that worked out well. And then you got to see what it looked like in 2022. Your buddy Bill Apter.
My buddy Bill Apter saw a lot of fades.
Shove Bill Apter's head up a horse's ass. That's how the weekend ended, Dan. Let's cover this. Let's make sure everybody. I'm trying to check out of the hotel. You two idiots are over there screwing around, and you're shoving Apter's head up a horse's ass.
It's a feud. It's a feud that has been going on for decades, literally for decades. I think the first time that I ever met Bill Apter, we just hit it off. He's got a great sense of humor of him, and he had. It's called COW, C-O-W, his COW championship belt, which is a cardboard belt that their staff members made all the designs, coloration, stuff like that. And the matches always had to take place inside of an office. So it was literally he had me in a finishing hold at the point in time, and as my hands were flailing above my head, my hand hit a garbage can. I thought, oh, weapon, reached back, grabbed it, came up there, beamed him, and then basically I ended up winning his cardboard belt from him. And literally, he hadn't seen it in several years. And I forget where I was being inducted into something else, and Bill Apter happened to be in the crowd. And then literally part of my speech, I swung on, I did all my accepted portion. And then they go, now I have to take this moment here to point out a fraud who is amongst us. And then basically I started cutting a promo on Bill Apter. And then I had a belt bag up there, and he was shocked when I pulled out the COW championship belt, and I basically gave it back to him. So he had it on display. So I mean, I've been to his home on a few different occasions. I wrestled his son, who was known as El Brando at that point in time. And to me, it's like going, it gives sometimes just grown men just the opportunity to live childhood memories once again. That's all it is.
Brother,
but again, going back to that whole Hall of Fame, so there was so much fun at the event. Just wait as people were meeting each other. You got Dory Funk Jr. that's out there cracking his whip right now, thinking, I want to get out of the way there. I just don't know what kind of range he's got on that whip here. But he was cracking that whip there, and people just couldn't believe how he could just get that thing just to go in there. So, but just then who were just list some of the people that people could have seen,
Well, I'll do a list, but I'll do it with connections. So when you talked about Dory Funk, who of course was there with his beautiful wife Marty, but Dory was then hearing other people speak, and he would hear names come up. I was at the table with him, and with Jody Malenko, who people, maybe a lot of people don't know, but Jody Malenko could twist people into a pretzel. So it's interesting to hear Dory Funk Jr. as he's hearing names read from the podium and making comments to Jody about, hey, I know that, or I know that move. And then, of course, Ted DiBiase was there, and I'll refer to him as Ted DiBiase, although, come on, he is the $1 Million Man, but man. And Ted, who was there to induct Dory Jr., but if you saw during the weekend, like when those gentlemen were able to just go have a private dinner in the restaurant and just reconnect. I was there when Manny Fernandez showed up after driving from Texas, and Booker T, of course, was there. And I didn't know, but Manny Fernandez in the early 90s used to book GCW, and he used to book Harlem Heat. So those two guys love each other, and hadn't seen each other in quite a while. I happened to be right there when they're reconnecting. Then you got JJ Dillon and Bill Apter. They're our tag team champions. They both serve on our board with us. Those two are, like a comedy routine by themselves,
Oh, just give them the microphone and just turn them loose.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get on the what was it? What night that I was thoroughly entertained by Bill Apter, because he actually does like a 1 hour stand up routine, something like that. I mean, and literally, I don't know how much of it is ad libbed. I just think he's been doing it for so long that he's got kind of a script, but he can zing and zag with the best of them.
That was the Bill Apter one-man show, our after hours party. Yeah, that's hilarious.
Oh, it is, and he's good about incorporating all kinds of people that are in the audience, who's ever there. I mean, well, again, he's, because of his knowledge, because of writing so many different articles and magazines over the years, he knows all of these people. So and he's had them at his home or in his office.
I want to make sure I also mention Cody Hall was there, an aspiring younger wrestler, that very big guy. And, people always refer to him as Scott Hall's son, Razor Ramon, but Cody is his own man. And it was great to have him there with us as well. I
was actually shocked as to how tall he was as well. I'm thinking, holy moly, this young man he's a tower.
He's got to be 6'8", 6'9".
Oh, easily. I'm thinking, wow. I mean, I kept thinking, he's a professional wrestler. Was he a basketball player? I mean, I don't know more of his background at all.
I'm 6'5", 270, and I was looking up at him,
Wow.
Yeah. And then again, how about Jake Shannon, right? How many, again, maybe pro wrestling world isn't as familiar, but if you know grappling, and if you know training with a mace, and if you know, Billy Robinson and Carl Gotch and catch-can wrestling, Jake is the guru.
Yeah, no, he's a historian himself there on that. Now, I had several conversations with Jake there throughout the course of that weekend as well. I mean, I had a fantastic time. I actually kind of wish that the weekend didn't have to end, but it was great. It was a very well thought out. There were things taking place at all times, and people could attend all kinds of different types of functions, and then to finish it off with like that breakfast of was it Breakfast of Champions?
Yes, sir.
Was it? Yeah. I want to make sure I was saying it the correct way. Okay.
Yeah, it's funny, Dan, because I don't enjoy it while it's going on, if that makes sense. In fact, it's not until like a couple weeks later. It's not fun for me. It's
because you're worried about everything going off right. You're looking for this. You're looking at the timetables. Does everything take place? I get it. What's going through your mind? You can't, not until the dust settles can you actually go back and breathe a deep sigh and go, okay, we succeeded.
In fact, I got to give credit. There's a gentleman, Mac Davis, who's big in pro wrestling. He's out of Georgia. Mac works a lot with Teddy Long. He produces those videos that he keeps putting out. And that helped. He's the one who was doing the technical support during our dinner that kept the two screens on each side. See,
okay.
Dan, I want people to know, if you weren't at our if you haven't been to our events, we run them like they're the Emmy Awards or something like that, where we've got the podium in the middle, we've got 2 video screens on the side, we've got professional announcers.
And again, now get that was kind of it was comical because when when Mike Menudo went behind the podium right there, but between having the championship belt set up there, I mean, I think you saw the top of Mike's head is what you saw. So it was great that they had the screens. It was
well, so Mike was up there, and what a great part of the weekend as he was inducting Fred Beal, who was from the early 1900s and had beat Frank Gotch, I think in 1906 or something like that. I may be wrong. I apologize if I'm wrong. I don't think I'm wrong though, but and that we had from Marshfield, Wisconsin, the chief of police come to our event because Fred Beal, after being a champion wrestler, was then killed in the line of duty in 1933. And he's revered in that community for his service on the police force. And now we were able to give to them a replica of our bronze plaque. By the way, that's what sets us apart as a Hall of Fame. We actually have legitimate, bona fide, nice bronze plaques for each of our inductees. Put together by
I wish on that note I could have been going, yep, right there, but I have that back actually at my home here right now.
But what we did was, because I'm from New York, I went to Yankee Stadium and I said, who did their work? And that's who we hired to do our work.
Oh, wow. Nice, nice.
I'll give a shout out. The company is US Bronze, and I'll say that because they gave us that free plaque that we gave to the Marshfield, Wisconsin Police Department to represent Fred Beal. So that's why Mike Menudo was up there. So, and that turned into one of the key events of the weekend. I mean, people were emotional over that part.
No, again, because it was more than just professional wrestling. The way that I think that you brought in, you brought the community together, and I think that was what made it even more special. It's, I mean, professional wrestling, it's one thing right there, but it's just the way that each of the people that were involved, and the way that you guys, how you conducted yourself, how you handle things. It was first class operation all the way through. And again, you said that it always takes place the last weekend in August.
That is correct.
So
thank you for watching another episode of Dan and Don's Toxic Masculinity. You better like, subscribe, and share, or I'm going to come to your house.